So it's project week here this week, so I thought today we'd do a bit of an update on some of the things that have changed. As I said in a previous video, my intention was to change the shipping container and move the orientation from this direction to the way that it's sitting now, and then also a few other things with this project. So what happened was we needed a culvert to be put in. Didn't have to be anything too big, as the majority of the water runs around a different direction around the plot. So for the most part, there was just a high spot there at the front of where that landscaping starts that just needed to be shaved down, and then the culvert put in there. There's plenty of fall otherwise going to that drainage ditch, so it just needed somewhere to be funneled into. So that was the start of the day, is putting in this culvert. So then we wanted to get the shipping container moved. The majority of the stuff that was in there we'd taken out. There's a few things just still left that weren't going to be a problem if they did fall over. We needed to put down a rock base first in order to set the container onto something that's going to be more permanent and not directly onto the ground. Actually, I would say overall that really wasn't as difficult as it may seem if you have the right equipment here, which obviously this big track loader has plenty to lift this thing and kind of move it around as necessary. So that wasn't too bad, and really pretty much everything on the inside stayed in place as well. The rest of it was pretty much finishing out the grade to make sure everything was right after the container was there, and then getting the rest of the rock in place and finally topping it with more of a fine rock on most of it. All of this stuff is crushed limestone that we have here in Iowa, so it actually bonds together. There's a lot of fines in there too, and once it gets rained on and driven on quite a bit, this area will end up very packed together, and definitely a nice spot compared to that mushy mulch, which was just not working out so well and wasn't really going to be a permanent solution. So this would be a nice solid area there as we move to eventually refinish this thing as the clubhouse. I have some different ideas for it. I haven't flushed all those out to figure out exactly what that's going to entail yet. There's lots of possibilities with these shipping containers, and the reason that we're not trying to just build some brand new structure here is, one, we already had the thing. We know kind of how our stuff fits in there, and we can still continue to utilize it for storage. Also, if I just refinished this and did some different things to it, it's definitely golf ball proof, which I won't have to worry about any sort of thing like that. So that's the idea behind it, but it obviously will not look like this in the end. There'll be some things changed with it. In case you missed it as well, we're still running our early summer sale. All the details for that down in the description, and a pinned comment if you'd like to see more about what's going on with that sale. So then if you've also been following along with all the rain that we had and how my plots were getting all flooded, we had some extra soil and things left over from that project. The idea here on this side was to create more of a berm. So actually the water comes down that hill and comes out right through here, and what was happening was it was a low spot, so it would cross over and it would go over into the plots right here. But now we have the water diverted, so unless you get, probably in person, this is about, at least probably 2.5 feet tall, maybe a little more. So unless there was some kind of extreme weather there where there was that much water coming down, it should not cross over this. Now if it did, I can simply build this up higher if we need to, but this is a good start to divert the water around and keep it out of the plots so that I don't have to keep dealing with all the mulch flying into there and cleaning all that out. Everything else around here is actually looking a bit rough after so much rain. I think everything was pretty much just waterlogged, and getting used to the fact that it had so consistent water, and now all of that has turned off. The temperature has come up a little bit more, and everything just kind of looks a little unhappy with the way things are going. So we'll see if we start to get some rain or if irrigation's going to need to turn on. But I think a lot of times people think, oh, we had 4 inches of rain. Depending on your soil type, me having a more sandy soil, it doesn't necessarily hold on to that for all that long. And we've had some low humidity days, some windy days, and things tend to dry out a lot quicker than you might imagine. So just be watching for things. Just because you had a lot of rain a week and a half ago, things can dry out pretty fast. So this has opened up now the ability for me to extend this over so that things are more centered. When you're hitting from up on the top of the hill, this is kind of tucked down into a corner. So that's going to allow me to move and extend the green over so it's more centered here. Hopefully that will also allow me to keep whatever's over there, since the irrigation is in place. I can use part of that as the fringe, and this can come through and it can be whatever shape we want it to be now. As got to start to think about that soon and get prepped here for late summer. That's kind of where things are at on projects this week. Next week I'm hoping to get some fertilizer spraying done and get some more info on, as you moved into summer, how I manage still doing some fertilizing and things like that. Stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.